Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I'm going to create an industrial or commercial parametric table family in Revit. I will also cover the problems you might face while you create the family and how you can solve it. Let's jump straight into it. You click on the big R, New, Family, and you choose Furniture. So let's set some reference planes for that. I'm going to start with creating the worktop first. And let's set some parameters for it. We call this width. Click on OK. Dimension. Escape, click on the dimension, create parameter, and we call that depth. And OK. So let's go to the front view. And once you get this, you double click on the wheel and it zooms on the right position. Create again. Let's create now the worktop thickness. I'll drop it somewhere there. And we want the worktop thickness to be 40 mil. So you click on one of the reference planes and you click on the dimension 40, and there you go. So now we're gonna call this worktop thickness. I've shown you that you can create parameter when you click on this, but the other way that you can also create parameter is if you go on family type, and once you get this, you click on here, new parameter, you call that worktop thickness, click on OK, and OK. And now you click on the dimension, you go to label, and worktop thickness. There you go. Now we want the worktop thickness to be fixed. So we're gonna lock it. Because what happens now is when you move that reference plane, you see that it is all the time on 40 mil. So that's fixed. And let's set the height of the table as well. Escape, click on the dimension, create parameter, height, OK. And let's check if the height is working. Let's move that to 900, click OK, and that is moving. And go back to reference level and let's check our width and depth. Let me make this a bit smaller and move it to the side. So depth, let's say 800. Apply. Yeah, that's working. The width 1200. Apply. Yeah, that's also working. And OK. And now let's create the extrusion. So you click on here, extrusion. Click on the square, and we're going to draw on the reference planes. And now we're going to lock it on the reference planes. So you lock all of the lines and then OK. And now there is 250 extrusion because we clicked on it OK already. So I'm going to go to front. As you can see, it is dropped on here on the reference level. That is fine. We can change it. So what we can do, we can click on align, pick the top of the worktop, click on that, lock it, the bottom, click on there and lock it. Escape. And now when we move the reference line, as you can see, that moves as well. Okay. Let's create the legs now. The table legs, and set some reference planes for that. Reference plane from there to there, click one of the reference planes. We want it to be 40 mil. So let's move to 40, click on the other reference plane. We want the gap between them to be 40 mil. All right. So there's 40, we can set the dimensions for it and call this leg width and OK. So there you go. And we set another dimensions for the other one. Create parameter, we call that leg depth. So there you go. We have set the reference planes for, since it is the same dimension, we're just gonna copy it and we drop it somewhere here. As you can see now, the reference planes and the letters and the text and the numbers is getting a bit messy. So what I tend to do, I click on the scale of this view and I change it 1 to 5, for example, or 1 to 10. And that looks better. Just clean up the mess. Escape, we're gonna label that like depth. Highlight those ones, copy, paste it somewhere here. Pick dimensions, click on that, and we call that leg width. And there you go. Let's just move them somewhere here. Okay, so now what happens is, for example, when I move one of the reference planes, as you can see, it is stretching. We don't want that. We want it to be fixed at 40 mil. Okay, so we're gonna lock it. So let's go and lock these. So we click on the dimension and lock. Click on the dimension, that one is locked already. Lock, and that one is locked as well. Now let's create the leg offsets. So the leg offset is gonna be from the edge of the table to the table legs. So let's go to the right view. Let's go front view first. Front view, pick the dimension, and we want the leg offset to be 50 mil from the edge of the table. And we're gonna create parameter for that. Call it leg offset. Same thing for the left-hand side. Escape, click on the reference plane 50 and click on the dimension, label that leg offset, and we want the same thing from here. So we're gonna go to the right view and reference plane, dimension, escape, click on the dimension, click on the label, and leg offset. Did that just move? No. Okay. All right, for the back, we want that to be 100 mil. The reason for that we're gonna choose that 100 mil is because you might have, I don't know, pipeworks going behind it, plumbing, gas pipes, or electrics, whatever going behind the stable. So therefore, we're gonna leave plenty of room for that. To the right, we're gonna call this, create this parameter for it, and we're gonna call this services leg offset. And okay, We can change the view on here as well, 1 to 10, so that looks better. And we go to the front, we can change that also 1 to 5, or 1 to 10, sorry. There you go. And let's create now our table legs. Move those ones away and create extrusion. Pick the square, draw on the reference planes and lock it. Now, some people draw inside it, and what they do is click on escape and now they use alignment. Pick the reference plane, pick that line, and they lock it like this. Whatever is easy for you. Escape. I prefer this method. Whatever, like I said, is easy for you, but make sure that you draw on the lines, on the reference lines, otherwise your parameter will not work. And the extrusion is going to be 250. Again, remember that this is going to be from the reference plane, okay? And we click on OK, and we go to 3D view. As you can see, it is from the reference plane. We don't want that. We want it to start from the bottom of the worktop. That's fine. We can lock that from there. So we can pick the reference planes and the top of the legs and lock. Okay, escape, and let's go to 3D view. There you go. Go to the front. And let's create now our bar supports to support these legs, basically. So you're going to have a bar support from there, to the back, and on here as well. We go to the front, create a reference plane. Let's move this up a bit. We create a reference plane. And we want it to be 300 mil from the floor. Now we can get rid of that dimension because we don't need it. Create another reference plane and make sure that is also 40 mil. Yeah, that is exactly 40. And we want to lock this now because we don't want that to be moved up and down. So that's locked now. All right. The other way that you can create extrusion, I have always just drawn it and chosen it and then it extrudes it at randomly on the reference level. But we can pick our plane. We can now label this one. We can call this bar support. Bottom bar support. Yeah. So I've labeled this reference plane. And now when I go to the reference level and I create extrusion, I can set the reference plane that I want to draw on. Okay. So you can set it here. You can click on that reference plane. And that's the one that I just created. Bottom bar support. And OK. When I click on the square and I'm going to draw that now like I did for the other ones on the reference plane, and OK, do the same thing there. Now if I do the same thing on here, Revit will not allow me to do that, because what happens is Revit is going to read that line and is going to connect that line with that, and it's going to extrude that as part of that, and for that reason it is not going to work. Therefore I'm going to draw this again after I have I clicked on OK, so I'm gonna create it again separately. Extrusion, and click on that, make sure that is the right reference plane, yeah. And I'm gonna click on those ones, square on the line, and lock that, and finish. Again, notice that I just left it at 250. And let's go to 3D view and look how our table looks like. As you can see, it is extruded at 250, but on that reference plane that we created and set that from there. So we're gonna go to the front and we're gonna lock that as well, which is fine. We can do that. Alignment, reference plane, the top one, and you click on that and lock. Make sure you lock the bottom one as well. That is locked to the right. Alignment, bottom reference plane. Oh, sorry. Alignment, the top one, obviously. Lock that and lock the bottom as well. And there you go. That is our table. And now let's test it and see if it is working now. So let's move the depth to 700. Yeah, that's working. Move the height to 1 meter. That is also working. Move the depth to, I don't know, 1400. And yeah, that's all working. And the next video, I'm gonna create some accessories. I'm gonna add casters, feet, shelf, upstand, and yeah. So watch part 2, and I'm gonna create another video for that. Thank you very much.